My name is Gavin Coffin, and my topic is analysis of a specific element of setting, in which I chose to analyze texture and color of pathways in the ground. And so let's jump into texture. So hardscape is the term used to basically describe anything that has to do with the walkable paths or accessible guest areas, as opposed to landscape, which is non-accessible guest areas, usually like flowers, lawn, trees, things like that. However, there are a few major design principles within texture that bring it all together. The first is material. Now this is a huge one. I'm sure as many of you have walked around themed environments and theme parks and whatnot, you've noticed that it's mostly concrete. This is usually the chosen material for a couple reasons. First, as authentic as theme parks try to be, it sometimes just impractical. Like having actual dirt is not going to hold up with millions of guests walking over it. It's not going to hold up in the rain. It's not going to work for parades, things like that. So concrete is used because it's strong enough. And then with the following principles, you can then layer on the theming and immersion of the concrete, which that leads into the next one, which is stamping. Stamping is basically taking big stamps, it's right in the name, and in pressing it onto the actual concrete before it is settled. Now this can range in basically anything. Wood is a big one, rock layouts, because it can be impractical to use actual rocks. Bricks, a lot of bricks that you see aren't actually bricks, they're concrete that are stamped to look like bricks. And this even includes little things, not necessarily entire stamps over the whole pathways. So this can include like tracks, whether it be people, cars, animals, things like that. It can be specific objects, basically anything that looks like it's impressed into the concrete but not actually there is stamping. So the next one is things that are in the concrete and are actually there, which is embedding. So this happens at the same time as stamping, but what you do is you take whatever you want to be in the concrete and you literally just press it in before it is set. Two major examples of this are, you have a Magic Kingdom in Storybook Circus, there are peanuts in the ground, and then over in Adventureland by the Magic Carpets of Aladdin, you have tiles, like actual pieces of tile in the ground. And then aside from the construction side of it, you have some of the more like basic elements of visual design, so lines, which normally we think of like straight lines or the horizon line or vertical, things like that, but they can be wavy, they can form circles or patterns, which are other design elements that kind of all come together to create the pathways that we see and create subliminal messages in your mind about what's going on, which kind of leads to the next aspect of the texture and color design, which is color. So when you're not able to use the materials that you want, but you still want to look like that, painting it, dyeing it, things like that, using the specific color is how you're gonna add on top of that instead of just having the gray concrete. The gray concrete might look like wood, but until you paint it the correct colors that you're looking for, it's not gonna actually seem like wood. However, one big thing with color is that it can be hard to replicate. Theoretically, you could replicate any imaginable color, but because of the material that it's on or the paints that you're using, the desired color might not be 100%, so it can be hard for designers to find and perfect the color they're looking for to get that 100% immersion. So with all of these, we have the effects that they cause. So there are three main groups of effects. The first is the detail effect. So this is what's making it immersive, the little things, the bumping the lamp, things that are going to maybe not necessarily be noticed, but some people will, and will really make it feel like you're in that area, like footprints and tracks and things like that. Those make it feel like you're in the middle of the woods or in a street or on another world. And then the next is the story effect. You can learn so much from what's in the ground, whether it be animals that went there recently, you can tell what the ground is by looking at it, things like that. And then you also have the emotional effect. So I know personally for me, when I go somewhere that looks like somewhere I've been, it brings back those memories, and that's kind of what it's supposed to do. The colors and the textures bring back your memories and make you really think that you're there, because For instance, the Polynesian, it has the kind of flowy volcanic pathways, which reminded me of the time that I went to the Galapagos. It brought me back to that kind of tropical volcano area. So it can have huge impacts. As you can see, there is so much to go in to just the ground, and most people don't even look down. It's something you kind of just is there that happens that you're not realizing is bringing you into the earth. So I encourage you to look down more and kind of feel what's under your feet. And I would just like to say that all the pictures in here I took myself. I went to Magic Kingdom and a few of the resorts, and I took over 520 pictures. So there is a lot in the ground.